Hey up now then, hope everybody's well, hope everybody's okay. I just want to put a little video together today to give some ideas of what to do next for those that's just come into the hobby, those that's just passed the foundation. Okay, if you've just passed your foundation, congratulations, well done, welcome to the hobby. If you've got your foundation license in the coming weeks, coming months, good luck, I'm sure you'll be fine. I think it's absolutely fantastic, these foundation licenses that's coming into the hobby now. I've logged quite a few over the last few months. Not last weekend, weekend before, maybe weekend before that. I am a sorter chaser, a sorter activator. I talk to the guys that go on mountains, and I go on mountains myself basically. I work 3 different summits. 2 of those were M7 stations or found newly licensed foundation licensees. It's fabulous, it really is. Okay, so the idea of the video is to just give you a few ideas, nothing set in stone. Nobody's going to hold a gun to your head and say this is what you must do next. Okay, they're just a few ideas. Just tell you how I got into the hobby. 13 years old, I got home from school, just a young teenager, to find that my brother had bought this CB radio set. Just after CB had become legal, you got 40 channels on FM, and he bought this little CB radio set. He got a little quarter wave antenna up on the chimney and a power supply, and they were talking to people, and that were it, hooked. I was amazed, thought it were absolutely fabulous. I used to tune around the channels, hear people that I went to school with, and thought it were ace how I could chat to them. Okay, they say only 13, wasn't working, I couldn't afford my own gear, didn't have a job at that time. I stayed with CB radio through the mid 80s to the late 80s. Mid to late 80s computers started to get good then, didn't they? The ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64. People used to drop off CB radio and go down the computer. I know I did. But before I left CB radio, obviously, towards the late 80s, I had a job, bought my own gear, all sorts of radios, all sorts of antennas. I had sideband radios, which you weren't supposed to use at the time. I've had almost every CB antenna known to man. Original Sigma 4 I had on the side of the house, which were quite an adventure, because the house I lived at the time, with my parents of course, we had a stone outbuilding that were 10 feet high. On top of that, I had a 20-foot scaffold pole, and on top of that, my Sigma 4, which were just short of 28 feet. So you've almost got 60 feet bolted to the side of the house. You got away with it in those days because everyone had CB antennas up, didn't they, right? I had an amplifier at the time. I had a burner, you call it, I believe, called a Speedy 100. It's supposed to do 100 watts, so I could get about 85 out of it. It was an old valve amplifier with the plate and load on the front. Okay, so I've been through all the CB radio. Incidentally, on there I were called Stormbringer, which, where did I get that from? It's the name of a Deep Purple album, right? So I went through that, computers right through, as I say, into the Atari ST, Commodore Amigas, then into the PCs. My first PC was a 386 DX40 with a 40 megabyte hard drive, not 40 gigabyte tiny thing, no sound card, nothing, right? And then 2005, probably actually June 2004, I was speaking to a friend of mine who were heavily into CB radio, and I said to him, do you fancy having a go at this amateur radio thing? And we had a bit of a chat. So they'd scrapped the Morse test by then, long gone. So yeah, he says, yeah, we'll have a go at that. Went online, found a local radio club, and we went along in January 2005 and we joined. Now, we didn't sit our foundation until June of 2005. The reason for that being is the trainers at the club at the time, they were doing an intermediate course. They'd done a foundation course before that, an intermediate before that. They were working pretty much flat out, and they said to the powers that be at the club, do you mind if we just have a couple of months off now so we can actually play some radio, so we can have some fun? So that's why we didn't do a foundation until June 2005. But we still went along to the club. We thought we knew a little bit about radio. We got involved, watching presentations, watching people in the Radio Shack there work radios. Bit of an eye-opener, to be honest, at the time. Went up on high ground on Otley-Shevin, which is on one of my videos. Took part helping put antennas up for contests. Watched what people did a bit of logging and got involved. So I did my foundation June 2005. The following year, 2006, I did the intermediate and got the call sign 2 Echo 0 Foxtrot Sierra Romeo. And then 2011, I had a bit of a gap in my life and I decided to do the full and got this call sign Mike 0 Romeo Sierra Foxtrot. Okay, if you've just done the foundation, you might be thinking about doing the intermediate. I believe you can do that online now. I believe the full is going online sometime around Christmas. Don't do what I did and have a 5-year gap between the intermediate and the full if you decide to, because I'd forgotten a lot of stuff. Okay, I actually went back and went through my intermediate book and my foundation. I went through them both, but I passed it anyway. And when I got this call sign 2011, I decided to go down the low power route, the running QRP, 5 watts or less. You can probably see, don't know if the camera's picking up, there's a couple of Yaesu FT817s behind me. So I don't run any more than 5 watts. I hear a comment a lot and I read a lot of comments, social media and things. People that have come from CB radio into this hobby, into amateur radio, they've done the foundation. And you hear it a lot. Well, I won't do not with my 10 watts. Trust me, 10 watts is plenty. 10 watts is plenty of power. I run 5 or less. I worked all over the shop. I worked Australia, South Africa, loads of Japan, China, loads of South American stuff. I've worked Hawaii on 5 watts. Okay, so you can do it. Now then, people that say, I won't do not with my 10 watts. I think I know where this comes from. I'll give this some thought. People that have come from CB radio, they've come from 11 metres, right? And I'm not knocking it, because as I explained, I was one myself, okay? I'm not knocking it. But your 11 metres is on 27 megahertz, right? So, 27 megahertz, you'll get band openings May, June, July. A little bit around winter time you get a little bit as well. Apart from that, the rest of the year, nothing. I know these guys run massive amounts of power to talk to their friends across town, okay? Amateur radio's not like that. Also, if 27 megahertz is open, there's a chance that our 12 metre and 10 metre bands will be open. 12 metres is 24 megahertz, 10 metres, 28 right up to 29. Got a massive chunk of spectrum, so they'll be open as well. But the rest of the year, when you want to hear local stuff on CB, we've got bands, we've got frequencies like 20 metres, 14 megahertz, 40 metres, 7 megahertz, 80 metres. You know, we've got loads of frequencies that you can work all year round. You should never really go without finding. So even we're at the bottom of the sunspot cycle and people say bands are dead. No, they're not dead. There's stuff to work. Put a call out. Okay, so that's where I think it comes from. You'll do plenty with your 10 watts, trust me. It's absolutely plenty. Don't see it as a handicap. And I'm not knocking CB because that's where I came from. Am I proud of what I did? Young teenager, full of himself. Certainly enjoyed it. Really, really good days, happy times. Met some really good friends on there. Right, so I'm not going to mock it. I think there's a hardcore on CB that won't budge. Even I think they're coming to get the foundation licence and go back to CB because it's what they like doing, which is great. If they're not harming anybody, what's the problem? If that's what they enjoy doing, yeah, crack on. So I said that this video, the purpose to give you a little bit of an idea of what you might want to do next. You don't have to do it, as I say. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying do this. What you might want to do in no particular order. The first thing I think you should do is, if you've got your foundation coming up, or even if you've passed your foundation, go visit your local club. Right, okay. Have a little look online. you'll find a local club. There might be a contact phone number, an email address. Introduce yourself, right? Get yourself down there. Why? Why, you might ask? I'll tell you why. Because there should be a whole mine of information down there. Okay? People that will help you with being new to the hobby. Hopefully you'll be made welcome, and you can chat to people at the club. Okay? You might not know what transceiver to buy, what antenna to buy, what do I need for this, what do I need for that, I'd like to get into this, how do I do this. There should be a load of information down there and people that will help you. You'll make friends, guarantee it. Okay, I still talk to people that I met from the radio club I first joined 2005. I consider them friends. I'm still in touch with quite a few of them, and those people help me massively. Okay, you might go down to your local club. It's difficult for me. I live in a block of flats. I'm on 9th floor. I'd really like to get into HF. What are my options? Hopefully there'll be someone there to help you. Right? I know the people help me at the club, no end. And also with this foundation going online now on the intermediate and possibly the full, a lot of radio clubs rely on training as a source of income, getting new blood into the club. Okay, that's pretty much been taken away. I know another situation, you can't go to your local club because there's a lot of lockdown. Some are lifting it already. Hopefully it won't be too long before more's lifted, but get yourself down at your local club. Something else that you should consider doing is join the RSGB, the Radio Society of Great Britain. Okay, it's our national society, it's our voice, and it doesn't cost very much. I pay mine by direct debit, and it's less than a £5 a month. Okay, it really is. It's not expensive. Price of a burger, isn't it, really? Why join the RSGB? Well, it's our national society, it's our voice. What do you get for your £4 odd a month? You get a magazine, you get Radcom. Every month you'll get that through your door. This has just come actually. Right, there's all sorts of news in there. There's some technical stuff. That's interesting. All the main emporiums, all the big shops, they all advertise in there. There's radio gear in there. There's some letters pages at the back, which often raises a smile. Right, so you get that through your door every month. You get Radcom. The main reason I'm a member of the RSGB, and I've been since I first licensed, is for the QSL Bureau. Okay, for sending and receiving QSL cards. That's my little batch of QSL cards that's to get sent off. It's a couple of hundred there. Okay, I'll be sending them off next week sometime. Right, my QSL card there, look. If you talk to me on radio, you might get one of them. It's got my call sign on, M0RSF, the details that I can fill in. And quite interestingly, I don't think the camera will be making it out, but it says there, working the world on 5 watts or less. Okay, and the GQRP club. Right, so I like low power. Sending, receiving QSLs is a big part of the hobby for me. Okay, so think about joining the RSGB. So speaking about QSL cards, you might want to get your own printed. There's plenty of QSL card printers out there. If you have a little, put that in a search engine, you'll find them. There's plenty of them. Or you might think, well, I've only just passed my foundation, I don't want to get any QSL cards yet, because I'm hoping to do my intermediate in a couple of months. Yeah, fair enough, hang on. But the guy that I recommend that does QSL cards is a chap that was recommended to me back in 2005. A lot of people at the radio club that I remember of, a lot of friends, they use this guy. He's called Gennady. His call sign's UX5UO. Okay, Uniform X-Ray 5 Uniform Oscar. He's the QSL printer that I use. He did QSL cards when I was M3KFB for me, when I was 2E0FSR, and he's done all my M0RSF ones, right? I'm going to put links below the description in this video, so you can click on them and have a little look. Okay, have a look at his website, you see all the different designs. You might pick a design off the website. There's different prices. There's some that are just 2 colour, cheap ones, right up to full colour, glossy, both sides. Some really nice cards on there. So have a little look. You might want to, you can email him a photograph that you choose. You've probably got other hobbies. You might like motorcycles or horses or something. Send him a picture of your bike or send him a picture of a horse and he'll put that on a card for you. Send you an email through with a proof. You can have a look at that and you think, right, okay, I'd just like to change something. Tell him. Say, I really like the front of my card, but is it possible I could have the RSGB badge on the bottom left-hand corner, please? And he'll do it for you and it'll send you another proof. Once you're happy, get your cars ordered and they'll come through to you. Okay. As I say, I love getting QSL cards. I've got thousands in there. Absolutely loads. I've got boxes of them. It's a big part of the hobby for me. I enjoy it. Software. You might want to keep a logbook, maybe a paper logbook. You don't have to now. It's optional, I believe. But I still keep. When I was first licensed, 2005, we had to keep a logbook. Every time you press that PTT, you to write it in your log. Okay. Even if there was a station on the side of the world and I called him, I had to write down the time. Even if he didn't reply, I had to write down called, blah blah blah, but no reply. Every time you push the PTT, it's optional for you now. I use electronic logging. Some programs you pay for, some you don't. The one that I use is absolutely fantastic. I've used it for a long time. It's called Log4OM. Version 2's been out quite a while now. It's really good. It's free. If you do decide, yeah, I'm going to go at that Log4OM, keep a log of my contacts, download the quick start guide. Okay, there's a full manual, but download the quick start guide as well, because that'll get you going. Okay, there we go. That's my login program. I'll make a video on that. Okay, I'll make a video on that login program. There's plenty online actually. If you just put Log4OM, you'll see there's plenty of videos explaining what it does. Well worth a look. Keep a record of all your contacts, all your DXCCs, IOTAs, SOTAs, everything you work in there. It's brilliant. I've got both those 2817s connected to that. Incidentally, why have you got 2817s? This one's connected to HF, to a dipole. This one's VHF, UHF. So I'll talk to the locals on this, work DX on that. Right. I can put a call sign into this and it'll say if I've worked them before or not, which is quite useful. You might put M0RSF into this login program and you'll see that you've worked me before. You might say, hey Chris, I worked you 4 weeks ago. You were on one of them SOTA summits, you were up a mountain somewhere called Pen again. Yeah, brilliant. Keeps a log of your QSL cards as well. Does this, you know, as QSLs come through, you confirmed, you can put them in there so you've got them confirmed, what you've worked, etc. You're on radio, you're speaking to your mate down the road, yeah. Why wouldn't you QSL? I can't understand it myself. You know, people may not choose to, but I like it. Say, hey, I spoke to a guy in Japan the other day on my 10 watts. He'll say, shut up, give your head a shake. You can't have done, yeah? Yeah, look, got a QSL card to prove it. Yeah, that's Japan. I just picked a few out. That's Japan. I just picked a few Japanese cards out of me pile. Yeah, Japan. Japan. Easy. Easy peasy. Yeah, right. So you got proof there. You can show me a card. Say, look, I did honest. Worked it. There you go. I just pulled a few out of the pile. Right. Absolutely fantastic. I think I'll wind it up there for now. As I say, join your local club. Think about joining RSGB. Maybe think about QSL cards, the Log4OM. You might want to get, beforehand, you might want to get into data modes, digital modes. You might have heard people speaking about FT8. Right, okay, I use it myself, but it's all good. I've got an interface there. You'll need one of them. I'll put a link to where I get my interfaces from as well. Put my call sign into qrz.com, M0RSF. Scroll to the bottom of my page and you'll see there's some little icons. There's one for Log4OM, there's one for WSJTX they use for FT8, FT4. I think there's one for FLDigi, which is other data modes, and there's MMSSTV, slow scan television for sending, receiving pictures. There's something you might want to think about. Get yourself on qrz.com. Okay. I'm on radio and I work somebody, and I think, where's he? And I can put his call sign in. If he's not on there, I don't know. I could ask him where he is, but might not have a clue. So you can get his details off there if he sends QSL cards or not receive QSL cards. I think when you're new, to get yourself on QRZ.com, I think you've got to ask another amateur to do it for you. I don't think you can just go on and register yourself. I might be wrong. But I think you've got to get someone to do it. They go on there, put your call sign on there, your details, and then I think you can log in yourself and you can add stuff to it. Right, I think that's how it works. Speaking of being new, your foundation as well. If you join the RSGB, I think you get a discount for the first couple or 3 months. So it's even less. Definitely worth thinking about. Right? So thanks for watching this one. Have a little click on the links below, have a look. If you don't want to do them, it's fine. As I say, nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head and saying you have to do it. If you like watching this video, bottom of that screen there, the guy with the flat cap on, that's me. If you click on him, click subscribe, it'd be much appreciated. Comments, always welcome on my videos, on my YouTube channel. Speaking of YouTube, I've got quite a lot of friends on there that are really knowledgeable, which know the stuff. If you guys are watching this video, I know some of you have done your own videos regarding helping the newly licensed. If there's anything that you want to add in the comments that you think might help them, yeah, not that I've missed out because I could sit here and babble on forever, but if there's something you think's important, say they might want to try this, Chris, yeah, put it in them comments. Yeah, it's all about helping each other. Okay, so thanks for watching. Whatever you choose to do, enjoy the hobby, and hope to work you on the bands. 73 Chris M0RSF.